Welcome to the Wine Find Talks. Today we have a very special guest with us, a cellar master for the Heritage Collection at Boschendal. It's Jacques Viljoen. Now he is actually the cellar master for the iconic wine Black Angus, which we'll also be tasting today. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here. It's a great blessing and a privilege. It's awesome. Thank you.
Well, let's first talk about you. Because you have, I think you fell in love with wine from a very early age and you've been making it for a long time. But can you tell us about, when you first started to realize that wine was your calling?
Yeah, that is, look, firstly, it's South Africa or the Cape Coastal region is a wine region that has been there for years. So obviously with our Boschendal, 1685 being our heritage, as we've got 340 years of winemaking culture, of winemaking heritage in South Africa. So I grew up in a winemaking family. My father is one of 7 children that actually decided to move away from the winemaking, becoming an accountant for the University of Stellenbosch, obviously where you study viticulture and enology as well. But being there, growing up in Stellenbosch itself, I can remember my first memory of tasting must or juice was actually at the age of 5. I don't know if it's legal, but that's 5 years old. So
was it in school?
It wasn't pre-primary school. That was one of our tours to one of the wineries, and I still remember when Covid de Toy, he gave me some Sauvignon Blanc juice to taste. And up until today I'm 45 years old, and I can still remember exactly what it tasted like, and it was just like a super memory for me. And and you're also bound to date a girl whose dad is in the wine industry itself somewhere. So I worked a lot as a student and on the farms as a scholar as well. So worked in the Helderberg mountain range, did a lot of work in the wine industry as a scholar, as a student, and I fell in love in wine, and both my brother and myself went back into the winemaking.
Well, you're doing a great job there. The Heritage Collection, which is some of your most iconic wines, are really distinguished. But you, from your perspective, understand why they're so distinguished. Can you, quickly tell us what makes them so distinguished?
Okay, so once again, just for those of you who don't know, so South Africa is really cool climate. So people think Africa, they think warm, but if you think of South Africa and you think of Stellenbosch, where we make these heritage wines from, Stellenbosch is really close to False Bay with the Atlantic Ocean running past it. The beauty of it is where all of my vineyards for Boschendal is. It's within 10 kilometers from the sea, but the beauty is that from that 10 kilometers, you can really go up into the mountains to 550 meters above sea level quick. So we've been investing heavily in the Helderberg mountain range in Stellenbosch. So Stellenbosch for South Africa is like the signature of making premium red wine. So we've got 140 hectares of premium red wine vineyards in the Helderberg range. We've been investing heavily in that range, in that area specifically. We've been farming for the future. It's amazing to think that some of the Cabernet, some of the Syrah, some of the Cabernet Franc that I'm planting it for the next generation. It's like a baton that you're passing over. And I've been privileged to inherit a lot of those premium older vines there as well. Some awesome Clone 46 Cabernet Sauvignon, some amazing Syrah from just these spectacular sites. So Heritage Collection, what it's all about. This is the Boschendal Black Angus specifically. So it's in the heritage bottle. You will see the Boschendal emblem on the front. That refers to the Cape Floral Kingdom. So a lot of people come down to South Africa because they want to come and see the Big Five, but what they don't realize is that South Africa has got the richest flower kingdom in the world, even though it's the smallest flower kingdom in the world. So this flower capensis actually refers to that, of which a lot of those flowers actually is on the Boschendal farm itself. So this bottle was made when we celebrated 330 years of winemaking tradition at Boschendal itself. And that's the Black Angus that we've made. So that site, it's really cool climate. It's really close to the sea. It's close to the Atlantic Ocean. So we get that cooling sea breeze where we can easily drop to 7 degrees Celsius just from the morning 10 o'clock onwards. We've got elevation on north-northwesterly facing slopes. And with that elevation, we get good radiation or irradiation, which is going to give you a good phenolic ripeness, amazing tannins, and a nice tightness that ties in with our style of wine. So we say we're making wine with heritage, and we're making classic, elegant, terroir-driven wines.
You keep touching on cool climate. Just for viewers' understanding, cool climate is so important for what?
Well, cool climate it helps you to make these classic and elegant style wines. It helps you to make wines that is timeless, wines it's like diamonds are forever. So suddenly, by using cool climate, it gives you moderate temperatures. So with moderate temperatures, it gives you good phenolic ripeness at quite a lowish sugar level, meaning that you don't get wines that's got excessive alcohols with a sense of sweetness to it. You get those classic wines with low pHs, naturally good acidities, beautiful round, almost like dark chocolate, chalky tannins. And those wines are the wines that's going to age forever. That's like a premium Bordeaux in the best of years. It's going to age forever. And those are the wines that we're going for.
That's great. So you're shooting for the stars. You want the complexity, you want the ageability, you want the elegance, and you want, I guess, the drinkability at the table at every point in its generation.
I think that's something maybe that I've missed now, is that for us, balance and drinkability is what it's about. It's about that drinkability, that nice
It's about
tension,
pleasure, right? It's about
exactly.
having fun at the table, and it's about, quiet pleasures of complexity and elegance and things like that, and sublime, and the thing that you can sip slowly. But it's also about pairing it with food and enjoying it with company and sharing it with friends, connection in a bottle, really, right?
I love that. Look, personally, I love making food, and it's making good wine. It's like making the best dish for your friends. Nobody's got to say anything. You can look at them, you can see how they laugh and they're enjoying it. And so you get exactly the same kick with a good wine. It's just like it's love in a bottle.
I love that. Now, we're drinking the 2019 Black Angus.
Yeah.
Maybe you can walk me through a tasting of it because I'm thirsty.
Okay, so Black Angus, just want to take it a little bit back. So 1685 being our heritage. So what Boschendal has done really well is they've frozen history within time. So coming to the farm, you will see the original buildings still standing there, and it's in a pristine condition. Our whole philosophy is farm to table. So meaning that we are farming with some awesome Black Angus cattle. We've got our own vegetable gardens. And if you come to the farm, you would obviously experience that. We would get everything from the farm. But Black Angus, we've got a pristine herd of Black Angus cattle on the farm, and that's where the name comes from as well. It refers to the original estate blend that used to be Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah or Shiraz. And the beauty of Boschendal is that even though we're in the new world, we're standing with 1 foot in the new world and 1 foot in the old world. 1 foot in the new world, that we are not restricted with what we can blend. And we've seen that Syrah and Cabernet is a good blending partner. But 1 foot in the old world, where we've got these cool climate areas to make something that's really tight and elegant. So when you taste this wine, remember now terroir, classic and elegant. So please remember that. So this refers to the original estate blend. It's blended. It will always driven by Syrah. So this is Shiraz or Syrah that's from the Helderberg. And if I had to draw a picture of the Helderberg, and if the footheel had to do this, when I draw it and it kicks up, this part of the blend is about 50% or more, 53% to be exact in this blend. It's on a solid south-facing slope, facing straight onto False Bay. Standing in that vineyard, you're facing onto False Bay. So what's the amazing thing of Syrah? It's got a lot of tannin, but it's got round, velvety tannin, and it's got a lot of rutundin. Now the rutundin gives you that black pepper spice. So when you nose the wine, you're going to pick up a lot of that spicy black pepper spice. However, it's in a decomposed granite soil. It's a very, very deep soil. And that deep soil really gives you good concentration and some beautiful mulberry, berry fruit flavor coming through.
Yeah.
Then I'm coming through, still on the nose, is that Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc is a big part of this blend. So it used to be Syrah and Cab, but now we've got some excellent Cabernet Franc using in this as well. So about 23% Cabernet Sauvignon, about 15% Cabernet Franc. what's the beauty of that? The Cabernet Sauvignon is from clone 46 on rootstock 10114, so it's got shallow roots. This is on the northwestly facing slope of Helderberg, high up in the mountains. So that's going to give you some beautiful wet tobacco, pencil shavings, a little bit of that blueberry fruit, and that awesome graphite coming through as well. That's very old school, proper
Bordeaux.
left bank Bordeaux style
Yes.
cab.
Pauillac.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, in some years, depending, we might use, we used a little bit of Malbec in the 2019, and sometimes we use 2% of Petit Verdot, or maybe even a little bit of Merlot, depending on the year. For this year, we've used some Malbec, and it's just to flesh out the palate. So once again, it's classic and it's elegant, but sometimes Malbec is an awesome tool just to flesh the palate out and just to give you some beautiful, awesome fruit. So
Dark fruit.
fruit, yeah. So and that's what it's about. And then on the palate, obviously, that chalky tannin with that density. It's almost like drawing a picture with pencil, but just putting in all the shading. That is.
There's so many layers. It's a tapestry.
Layers, so.
And everything you're talking about is absolutely there. For me, there's a lot of, grilled pepper steak. The red meat and the pepper and a drizzle of cassis, but not so dry, but not austere in any way. And there's length. It's a beautiful wine, but I want to know, Jacques, what do you like to eat with this?
Oh, well, coming from South Africa, there's something that we've got, obviously, that we've got in common with somebody like Argentina, for instance. We love good red meat and we love good red wine. So I would want to say a good Black Angus steak, meat on the bone with this wine is going to be phenomenal. And then obviously in South Africa, we've got something that we call braai. So we've got two things that we call braai. It's like a barbecue, but it is a barbecue with solid passion and lots of wood, and it's like a bushveld fire that you make the coals super hot. And then we've got another word in South Africa that you would hear, and it's called lekker. You would hear the word lekker. It's got the same resemblance as awesome. Everything is, if you hear the word lekker in South Africa, you would know that, guys, it's an exhilarating feel that he's got there. So Black Angus steak with our Black Angus red wine would be super awesome on a braai.
Well, that's my bucket list. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers. Thank you very much.